Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. CC Says, the Leveling Up edition. Y'all, we have a special guest in the building with us tonight, Dr. Kevin C. Walker. And so some of you all know him, but for the people who don't, I'm going to do a little bit of an intro. So some people call him Dr. Walker, some people call him brother, some people call him uncle, some people even call him Kev, that's for Nisi, but I call him husband or babe for short. So, for those that did not know, Dr. Kevin Walker is my husband, my other half, better half. And so, we are so excited to have him on the show to talk about leveling up in relationships. And we throwing in finances. And I'm going to tell you all why we throwing in finances in a minute. Okay. So, you know how we do. If you are tuning in with us, if you're in the virtual building, please drop hi, hello, what's up, however you want to say it. Drop some in the chat so we know that you are here. If you are catching the replay, drop replay in the chat so I know that you have been here with us. And as always, we love for this to be interactive. Ask questions, y'all. Okay. Now, Kevin is silly. And for anybody that knows him, they already know that, but he is also a wealth of knowledge. So, Kev, I see that your brother-in-law is on here. One of them, JJ
Hey,
Culpepper. He said, "What it do?"
what
Yeah.
up?
Hey, Deanna. She said, "Hey, boo." All right. So, y'all, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background for the people that don't really know him, or for the people that know him and they don't know about all of this awesomeness. Okay. And then I'm gonna give him an opportunity to say hello to the people. So, Kevin, Dr. Kev, whatever you want to say, has 3 degrees from Tuskegee University, from Mother Tuskegee. So, a bachelor's degree in engineering, bachelor's degree in physics, and a master's degree in electrical engineering. He then went on to George Washington University up here in the DMV area to obtain a doctorate of engineering in systems engineering. Now, y'all, I'm gonna let him tell you what that is because that is all the way on the other end of the spectrum from what I do. Okay. But he actually does love psychology, and I love to hear about the engineering, the parts that I understand. So, yeah, one of the many things that I love about Kevin is that he has multiple interests and he has multiple passions. And when he is passionate about something, it shows through. So, Kevin, and he might tell you a little bit of his story growing up, but Kevin has a passion for financial literacy, for financial health and wellness, and wealth building. And so he has found a way to take all of the training and all of the knowledge and everything that he has gotten from engineering and marry that with some financial coaching that he's done, some training, and he has become a financial coach. And so, about maybe 2 years ago, he started CFPI Solutions, and he can tell you all about that. But under CFPI Solutions, he provides financial coaching for people who need guidance to how to be better, not just with their money, but with their financial behaviors. And one thing that Kevin will always say is that your finances very rarely have to do with money. How you manage your money has a lot to do with how you were brought up, a lot to do with your emotions, a lot to do with a whole lot of things that really aren't money based. And so Kevin is really good about being able to help people figure that stuff out and then figure out what to do from there. Okay. So I am going to stop for a minute. I'm going to let him say hello. I see we got all the people in the building. Hey, Shay. Hey, Mayor Lily. Nice to see you. Jaleesa is on. Hey, sis. Hey, Ashley. So we got all the people in the building. Y'all keep on saying hello and drop comments. Kev, go ahead and say hello to the people. I am going to share the live to my Facebook story. And you all, please feel free to share the live with anybody that you think could benefit from it. So go ahead.
Okay. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I am happy to be here. Been watching and supporting Dr. CC from behind the scenes, and she finally got me to come on camera. So y'all, I'm a little nervous. Um, so I'm nervous. I act out. So ain't no
Oh
telling what
my
I'm
God.
gonna say. She tried to prepare me. It didn't take. So y'all gonna be just as surprised as I am to see what
Oh my.
gets dropped tonight.
Oh my. Okay. So and y'all, he is not playing.
Not
It
playing.
anything might come up, it might come out. So y'all just be prepared. All right. Hey Danielle. Hey Tasha. So we got everybody in the building. Okay, so y'all, first question, we are jumping right in. And you all know we have been talking about leveling up. That's the phrase or the word for this year for me that God gave me. And Kev, at some point I want you to share the word that God gave you for the year because it is inspiring. Okay. Oh, your brother Jay said get a drink then if you're nervous. Sounds about like Jay. Yeah. But for me, leveling up means fully leaning into what God has for me, saying yes to all of the opportunities that are available because I realize and I understand that God has equipped me. Everything I need is already on the inside of me. And so I can lean into being exactly who He's called me to be. And with that, and because of that, I am going to level up and go higher and higher. And because I'm doing that, we are doing that, right? As a couple. So that's what leveling up means to me. Kev, what does it mean for you?
So for me, as a gamer, leveling up is a continuous process, of getting ready to rise to the next challenge. You're moving along in life and you're doing good, and then you run up on something that's a little more than you expected. And instead of giving up, you go get on the grind, you improve, you grow, you learn, you strengthen yourself, you go back, you be like, hey, challenge, what's up? I got you. And you go to the next level. So that's what leveling up is to me.
Mm. So meeting challenges head on.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you get knocked down or you kind of get off course, I'm not even going to say knocked down, but kind of get off course, it's just getting back on and knowing that you have what you need to kind of keep going.
You say it so pretty.
Look, that's the psychologist, right? That's the psychologist in me. Yeah. So
Pretty
what
words.
huh?
That's it with your pretty words. Go ahead.
Words, yes. So what would you say leveling up means for like us as a couple?
Mm, man. It's like that times 10, right? Leveling up for us as a couple to me is, you know, example this, right? Us being on here and engaging on each other's profile, right? You coming into my world and playing in the financial world, me coming into the psychology world and telling people the wrong thing, right? Like that's the level of us growing together, separately and together and just fusing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. I tell people all the time, we have our own purpose, right? Like we have our own tasks and our own
Mhm.
assignments that God has given us. And it's something about having support. And of course, right now, y'all, we are talking about the support from a partner, a significant other, right? A spouse. But the support can be from your circle, from
Oh
your
yeah.
family, right? Like from your friends, from, those friends that become family. When you have that support, you are able to carry out what God has for you to carry out seamlessly. And so our speaking coach, Dr. G, because Kevin he tried to take her from me, but now we share her. But Dr. G,
Mm. I don't think that's
Dr.
me.
G always talks about leaning into ease, right? And like doing things with ease. And that's what I feel like leveling up as a couple has done, at least for me, and the stuff that God has for me to do
Yeah.
with you helping me and with you like encouraging me and reminding me that I can do it and I'm supposed to do it. And you sometimes having to say, hey, sit down, right? Like, be easy. Stop trying to like give all our money away, right? So, with you doing that, I can do things with ease. I can do things without having to stress about it. Like, I already know if I need a helping hand, I already got one on deck at all times.
I got you.
Yeah, and hopefully, you feel the same.
I definitely do.
Yeah,
Definitely do.
yeah.
If I could just get you to listen to me more regularly with that last part though.
Which part was that?
Let's stop giving away all our money.
Yeah, see, and so
Yeah.
y'all, we gonna jump into the money conversation because we have this conversation often. Like I told y'all, Kevin is about all things financial literacy. He's about wealth building. I am as well. We just come from different places with it, and so there are a few people on here, my brother included, that will attest. My mama didn't care about money like that, right? For her, money was just a means to an end. So you get it, you spend it, you save some, right? Like, and she wanted you to be smart with it. But Betty Jean would give away whatever she had. Look, they said at all, right? She didn't care about it at all, right? And so I do have a lot of that. So if I see somebody I feel like is in need, I am willing to give. And y'all, the funny part is Kevin probably has like as much concern, if not more concern, in a lot of situations than I do. He just also wants to like stop and step back and say, okay, is this a smart use of the money? Right. So it's not that he won't give it, it's just that he wants to be really smart with it. And I probably lead from my heart a little bit more. So, hey, Dr. Kim, she is on here. She said, my favorite millionaire couple. Yes, from
Yeah.
your lips to God's ears. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So y'all, we're gonna talk about finances. Because that's what Kevin loves, that's his passion. And I think what we see when we talk to other couples and what you see in the media and on social media and all of that, financial conversations and finances in general can be a big burden on a relationship, right? So Kev, let's get into it. How do you think finances and relationships, like how have you seen that go for us?
For us,
Mm-hmm.
who are you putting on my business in the streets?
I'm not. So what you about to say?
I think for us, it's been an adventure, right? We both had to learn a lot, right? And we both had to really apply all of our training
All
to
the
get
training, y'all. All
all
the
of it.
training. Okay.
Um, and like Christy said, she comes from a more comfortable place with money. I call it, I think it's called money scripts, right? The way you interact with money. You can be more, you can guard money, or you can be more loose with it. You can be, you know, not care about it. It really depends, right? And so I think Christy is more comfortable with it and believes that it just comes and flows freely. I believe that it comes and flows. I just come from a mental place of it ain't always came easy.
Yeah.
And I didn't always know it was coming. So um it's been an adventure trying to find that balance and that middle ground so that we can be able to talk the same financial language, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I
Because
think
that's
early on we were probably talking past each other a lot because we
yes.
didn't we were saying similar things but coming from a different view, and it just that wasn't always getting worked out in the communication.
Yeah, yeah. So y'all, that was something. I actually, when I thought about the questions earlier today, that what you just said was spot on my answer.
Huh.
Early on in this relationship, y'all, we talked past each other when it came to money. Now, other stuff we talking about, and like we were right there. Like you would have thought we grew up together. You like many people tell us all the time, "Oh my God, y'all act like y'all been married forever." We coming up on what we coming up on? Is it 4 years?
Lord, you don't do math in public.
It's it's 4 years. We coming up on 4 years, y'all. So we in 3.5 years right now. But people, often say, like, wow, you all act like you've been married for like 10, 12 years. And we haven't. We've known each other, definitely longer than 10 years. But I think it's because we see things so similarly most of the time. But when it came to money, right, it was we were saying the same things, y'all. We were saying them different ways, and we had different approaches. And so we were definitely talking past each other. And that if you've ever, had that experience with someone, that is frustrating. Right. And then how we deal with frustration is definitely different as well. So I am someone who's like, hey, now I ain't always been this way, but now I'm like, hey, I protect my peace at all costs. So y'all might be able to see I got on my shirt heavy on the protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. So if I'm trying to say it and I done tried to say it maybe two, three ways and you still not getting it, I'm a shut up, right? I'm gonna just be like, you know what? Hands off, flag on the play, man down. I'm gonna go sit somewhere and I'm gonna just be.
I am not there. You go hear me. You go hear what I got to say.
He is absolutely a you gonna hear me person, okay? And I'm like, yeah, but not if I don't want to, right? And so, yeah, we have gotten so much better with this money talk. And I
Yeah,
think this goes back to what Kevin shares with his clients when he's doing financial coaching. Money and finances are very rarely just about money,
yeah,
right? It's about all sorts of stuff. It's about how secure you feel. It's about how you grew up, whether or not money came, easy to you and your family, or whether you did have to guard it more closely because it wasn't coming and flowing as freely. Whether or not you care about money like that, what you think money represents. And
hmm
so, one thing that Kevin and I have always been able to agree on is not money, right? The Bible tells you the root of what all evil is, the love of money, right? It's not money that's the problem, and it's not even money that we care about like that. What we enjoy is the opportunities and the options that come from having money,
exactly.
right? So when you have a certain amount of wealth, you got options, you have choices, right? You can take a day off of work here if you need a mental health day when you got a little bit extra, right? You can buy something that's a little bit more comfortable as far as a car or a house or whatever when you have some flexibility with your resources. And so once we were able to say, okay, we're not talking about money, we talking about options.
Yeah,
We talking about amenities. We're talking about how do we exchange, time for money, or how do we exchange effort for money. When we were able to agree on that piece, a lot of the other stuff kind of fell into place.
yeah. I think once we got that clarity out there, like we were able to better understand where each other was coming from, right? So, and, I I remember very early on in my personal financial journey, right? Um, realizing that it wasn't money, just wasn't the 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 the, the tangible part of money wasn't the part that drove me,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And as an example of that, it was really illustrated the first time I had my bank account to the point where I didn't have to worry about paying bills, right?
Mm.
I slept different, y'all.
Mm.
Right? I rested a little bit better at night because I didn't have to figure out how I would pay this bill or how I would, eat, right? Or do those basic things. And and that changed me. But that also woke up other insecurities, right? Because then it went from, man, I don't have to worry about that again, to man, I ain't never gonna worry about that again.
Mm.
Right? And that became another driver, right? And it's like and to me that illustrates how you can, you know, just get out of balance with the things that are, I don't know how to say it. It's like it's it's not a bad way of being. It was just out of balance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Me not wanting to be poor again isn't a bad thought,
Right.
but I let fear creep up into that thought
Mm.
and really drive me, and that caused bad behaviors
Hmm.
that then generated some bad outcomes, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that you touched on fear because that's a big part of this, right?
Mhm.
It's not like you said, wanting to not be broke or poor, or wanting to be in a better spot financially. And y'all, we talking about finances, but we could be talking about anything, right? Wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to have better health. All of those things are great when you allow fear to creep in and cause you to focus on the issue more than
Mhm.
you focus on the person who solves all issues, right? Then that's where you start to have problems. That's where you find yourself saving too much.
Mhm.
Right. And my daddy used to love this analogy. He would actually do it himself. He would close his fist up and he would say, "You now, if I got money in my hand and I got it closed this tight, it ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna lose it, right? It ain't gonna get out. But guess what? Ain't nothing else gonna get in." And so we can overdo anything, really, y'all. Anything that's even meant for good. We can have good intentions, but if we are allowing fear to drive us, it's going to be a problem, right? It's going to end up taking us farther than we want to go. Yeah. Yeah. So, and Kevin, I love that you have on the free indeed shirt. And y'all, this was not on purpose. This was what shirt is available and ready for us to put on. So I didn't put on my protecting my peace shirt on purpose. He didn't put on his free indeed shirt on purpose. But I love the sentiment, and it comes from the Bible verse, who the Son sets free is free indeed. Right. And God can set us free in so many areas, all the areas. And so it's not just, are you free from sin? Are you free from fear?
Yeah.
Right? Are you free from holding on to the past? Are you free from insecurities? Are you free from low self esteem? Are you free from anxiety? Are you free from depression? If you not, you can be, right? You can be free. Hey, Dr. Shalonda, good to see you. Yeah. So, Kev, I wanted to ask like a follow up question for you. And so, y'all, this is fun for me. I hope you all are having fun, but like, I don't know his answers. And so, some of this is new information for me too. So, I'm having a good time. I am having a good time. So, Kev, let's talk a little bit about how can people level up financially. So I want to go there first, and then we're going to talk about leveling up in relationships with finances. Hey, Dr. Shalina, good to see you. Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
so the first question you asked is how can people level up financially?
So whether they're in a relationship or whether they are just, on their own right now and they want to get to a new place, a new level of freedom with their finances, what are just some basic tips you can give them?
Okay. So I think the most basic tip that I give to everybody is awareness, right? Becoming aware of what your money is doing. I think a lot of us do mental accounting, right? We we have a little bit of money here. We know we got this much on the credit card. We know we got this bill due, but we never actually put it in writing. And so we think we know what we're spending, but we don't really know what we're spending. And then all of a sudden, sometimes we end up in a situation where things don't line up. Well, the easiest way to overcome that is start writing it down, right? Pay attention, understand what your money is doing, understand where every dollar is going. And the easiest way to do that is just start by carrying a piece of paper and write down each thing you spend money on for like a couple weeks. And the goal at this point is not really to change anything or disrupt anything. You're not trying to change your habits. You're just trying to understand your normal habits, how you spend your money, what you do with your money. Do you spend more when you're sad? Do you spend more when you're tired? Do what do you do? And that's the biggest level up for most people is becoming aware.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I keep saying it because it's that important, right? You can't change your money habits or change your financial behaviors if you're not aware of what your financial behaviors are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest tip. From
Hmm.
there, is gaining literacy and understanding how the financial system works so that you can work it to your advantage. But understanding how you spend and interact with money is probably
Hmm.
the biggest level up.
Yeah. And y'all, I think that's so true just in so many areas of our life. So self-awareness is something that we talk about in therapy all the time. It's something that, we talk about amongst our friends. Definitely Kevin pushes this like with his clients, but also when he's talking to friends, and any friend on here can attest, Kevin will talk to you about your finances. If you want to talk to him about it, he will talk to you and have all the conversations. But being self-aware, y'all, it's something about having insight. It is something about understanding you, understanding what makes you tick. And that's why, when I'll have people ask me, usually people that know me will say, hey, what you think about this person going to therapy? Or what you think about me going to therapy for this or that? Y'all, I'm never really going to tell anybody they shouldn't go to therapy. Okay. Because one, therapy is not just to solve a problem or to
Mhm.
fix an issue. Therapy is also just to help you gain insight into yourself, and we all can benefit from gaining insight.
Yep. So from my coaching side, it's insight, right?
Mhm.
From my engineering side, it's data,
Mhm.
and data and insight is what allows you to build a system that supports you and overcomes any weaknesses or gaps you may have in growing your own wealth. So yeah,
Come on, systems engineer. I hear the
Mhm.
engineering coming out. Yeah,
Big one.
sir. No, we're not doing the TikTok right now. No. Mm-mm.
Eagles.
Yeah, listen, y'all have to excuse us, okay? This one right here is all the way silly, okay? So, hey, Miss Robin, she said, yes, indeed, to gain an insight. Yes. So, y'all, insight or, self awareness, or as Kevin said from the engineering side, data gathering, right? All of that is necessary for you to take the next step. Right.
Mhm.
So I can present things. I have certain techniques and skills and theoretical orientations that I use in therapy. But the very first thing, the most important thing is me understanding my patient, right? And making sure that they understand themselves so that they are giving me the right information. Because those techniques, those strategies, coping strategies, whatever it is, it's going to hit different depending on who you are and how you receive things, right? And so it's my job as the therapist to make sure that I'm presenting information in such a way that people can get it. It's not that the information isn't out there for folks to get. Y'all can buy some of these manuals that I'm using, but my job, where I come in, my sauce is making sure that I give it to you in a way that you can receive it. But you got to first know you. You got to know what you will do. So, for instance, Kevin and I started our fast today with our church. We fast every year with our
Mhm.
church for 40 days. We already know ourselves, right? We've been doing this. What is this, like year 5 now, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, y'all, that first year was rough, okay? Kevin almost lost his life because one day I was real hungry and he decided that he was going to tell me all the things that Daniel didn't eat. We doing the Daniel's fast. And he wanted to remind me about all the things that Daniel didn't eat. But it
Hold
was,
up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Let's be clear though.
well,
I ain't even want to do this.
whatever.
I ain't even want to do it. But she was like, "We doing it," and I was like, "Okay." And
Yeah,
so
no, revisionist history, no. So I said, "Hey, do you want to do this fast with me?" He said, "I don't think I want to do. Like that don't sound like nothing I want to do. Jesus didn't tell me I wanted to do a fast." So he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna sit that out." And I said, "Okay, bet." I said, "I'm going to go ahead and do the fast, though, right?" And this one, being the amazing supportive man that he is, was like, I mean, if you gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
I can't leave you out there by yourself.
I appreciate that, but stop telling folks that I told you we was gonna do it because that's not what happened. That wasn't the whole story. So y'all, we started doing the fast, and we figured out really quickly. So we have to prepare,
Yeah.
right? So for instance, after we finish the live tonight, we are going grocery shopping because we have to prepare for the fast. We got some stuff, but we need to get a lot more stuff just to make sure that everybody stays safe, right? Make sure that we all make it to the end of the 40 days and that we all still in good standing with Jesus, okay? So we know what we need to do because we know ourselves. But it took a second to get there, right? Like you can't be out here lying to yourself about who you are and what you need. You can't think you're gonna go from eating ribs one day to fruit and veggies the next day. Now you gotta, well, at least we do. Let me talk about us. We have to kind of slide our way in now. We have to gradually ease into the no meat and no sugar and no bread and all of that.
But and so going back to the finances, right? It applies the same way there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't go from not having money one day to having money the next day and think that's gonna last, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
all seen how that plays out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
money that comes fast goes fast. And it's not because it's not the amount of money,
Yeah.
it's the behaviors. It's the behavior system.
Yep.
If you broke when you got little money, you're gonna be broke when you get big money,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just gonna
Mm-hmm.
be a bigger broke,
Yeah. Because
right?
that's a mindset thing, right?
All
Like,
mindset work.
yeah, at that part we talking about mindset. And that's why and I can't remember which, I think it was broke instead of poor. But I had a teacher who used to say, right, one of them is about mindset, one of them is about situation,
Yeah.
right? And I can't remember which one is which, but it's
So
like,
it's poor.
is
Poor
it
is a
poor?
mindset.
Okay.
Poor is a mindset, and poor is a mindset that I carried for a long time,
Mm,
right? Because poor will have you, is almost like being in an abusive relationship, right?
mm,
It'll have you make decisions that keep you there, right? Like it doesn't allow you to come out of where you are,
mm,
right? And the truth is money comes and goes. Like it doesn't matter how much money we have, how many resources we actually have. Dignity is free, right?
yeah.
Belief in yourself is free. The ability to go and get it, right? Like when I had no money, I still had a way, right?
Mm,
Now
yeah.
as I've matured in life, I've learned that God is the reason for that. But I always had a way.
Yeah.
But I didn't always know I had a way. I
Mm,
just knew I need to survive from moment to moment. So yeah, that poor mindset will keep you there. It's a you know that's kind of the opposite side of what I teach about being wealthy, right? And I think a lot of people when they hear me say let's be wealthy, right? Let's get wealthy, they take it as getting rich or getting a lot of income, and that is by no means what I actually mean,
mhm,
right? Wealthy is a lifestyle you build and you design and you can establish wherever you are. It's about understanding what your goals are in life and setting yourself up to live in those goals or to reach those goals, right? It's
yeah,
independent of the amount of money you have.
mhm,
A person working a low end to middle income job can be a very wealthy person.
mhm,
There's plenty of examples in the media about people with a lot of income that are broke,
yeah, yeah.
right? There's a distinct difference there. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think, mindset, and we talk about this all the time. So y'all, if you were to eavesdrop or drop in on any of our conversations, you might get any sort of thing at any time. But what is consistent is this talk about mindset and this talk about us making sure that we have the appropriate mindset to grow,
yeah,
right? And so we'll check, ourselves, we'll check each other, right? And I love that we can have these types of conversations. And I remember older woman was giving me some advice. I think we might have been engaged, and she was giving me some advice, and she was basically saying, make sure y'all always got something to talk about.
Huh.
Right. Cause she was like, all this other stuff gonna fade at some point. She like, I know you think he cute and he think you cute. She like, all that might fade. She said your ability to get around well might go somewhere, it might not. But make sure that you all have things that you can talk about. Make sure that you all have a relationship that's not just based off of looks or based off of getting up and going and doing all the time. And I am so blessed that we do have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are, constantly talking about mindset. I see big sis Coco has entered the building. Yeah, she said you just gonna be a bigger broke. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, like that goes back to this idea. How are we thinking? What do we know about ourselves? People can put you in all sorts of situations. You can so-called look up on a different situation or come into a bag or whatever you want to call it. If you hadn't changed how you thought about it, if you don't have the self-esteem to know that God has given you all that you need to do what it is he's called you to do, guess what? You still find yourself stumbling. You
Yep.
still find yourself releasing that money that you just came into.
Yep.
Right, so you got to change more than just the situation around you. A lot of this work is inside work. It really is, y'all. Jacob Pepper said live off less than you make. Yeah, yeah. And so oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say like that is one of the things you hear often, right? And it's the most simplest way to think about it, right? If you
Mhm,
spend less than you bring in, and your money
mhm,
will grow, right?
mhm,
But here's the thing, right? My thing about most of the financial advice that we hear is it's nuanced, right?
mhm,
No, it's not always as simple as a black and white do this or do that, right? It has to work for you, right?
mhm.
You want to plan for tomorrow, but you really have to live today,
Yeah.
right? There's my whole platform is built off of gaining knowledge and growing your wealth over the long term, right? But there have been a series of events in my life and recently that have reminded me that not even just today is promised,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We really have to live, right? And where finances come in with that is it's that tool to help you do that, right? So that's where the awareness and the using the idioms, they all marry and work together, because it's like, hey, I got $100. It might make sense to spend 99 if that's going to give you what it is you actually want and value in life, right?
Mhm,
But if
mhm,
you spend $1 of that 100, if it was on something that you can't even remember in an hour, that was wasted. It didn't
mhm,
do anything for you.
mhm.
So yes, live off of less than you make, but make sure that what you spend matters to you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think that goes back to what you said earlier about balance, right? There
Yeah.
has to be this balance. Like we do have to plan for tomorrow. We do have to be good stewards over what God has given us. And we do have to live today, right? And so I just want you to remember what you said about if you spend 99,
Mm-mm,
but I'm just
mm-mm,
saying, because if
mm-mm,
it means something to you,
mm-mm.
yeah, because all my purchases mean something to me.
Lord knows I know.
All of them mean something to me.
They
So
do.
just look, just so we know, just so we there together. Okay. Hmm.
That was for the people. That was for
Oh, that
America.
one for me. Oh.
That was for America.
Hmm. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. Hmm. Okay. So
Help.
what what what
Nothing. Go
you
ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay, so we talked about how can we, just some basic tips for leveling up financially, just ourselves. But what would you suggest for couples? So maybe married, maybe working to get married. What would you suggest they do to level up as far as finances?
Whew. We both about to be surprised by this answer. I don't know. Nah, I think for a couple, what we've learned from experience, spend time establishing a pool of understanding,
Mm,
right? And I say that, I know that's a out there term, but in having difficult conversations, one thing you find when you have having difficult conversations is that um, people's understanding of certain words aren't the same,
mhm,
right? Your understanding of the word big and my understanding of the word big can be two different things.
yeah,
And although that might be a subtle difference, that misunderstanding can cause huge rifts,
yeah,
right, in what we're trying to communicate. So I think, spending time building a level of common understanding is part of the key. And
mhm,
then the next thing financially is understanding how how your significant other relates to money, right?
mhm,
Understanding what their money script is, right? So, for instance, Christy has a lucid relationship with money in that she knows it will come and goes, and she freely spends and freely gives, but she also works hard for it, right?
mhm.
Me, I work hard for it. I'm trying to control it, right? I don't want it to go nowhere, and I'll get the things that I need. Sometimes I get the things that I want,
Sometimes.
but it I will give, and I
Mhm.
I I
Absolutely.
know it will come back, but it ain't so easy to convince me all the time, right? But,
Y'all.
but knowing that about each other,
Mhm.
right, allows us to get this common understanding and then find that middle point, right? But
Yeah.
until we understood each other, it didn't matter what I said. It was like it felt like harping, right?
Mhm.
And for her, to me, it felt like, oh man, she just doesn't care, right? And that never was the case. It
Yeah.
just felt that way because we didn't understand each other's money scripts.
Yeah. Yeah. But once we did, and y'all, that didn't, I mean, it came from talking about money, but what it really came from was talking about our experiences and talking about like how we grew up and where we came from and what all these things meant. And
Hmm.
so when Kevin first shared with me his story about, and he might tell y'all about the alpaca draws, maybe not, I don't know. People who do speaking training with us, y'all know about the alpaca draws. But that the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, wait, that makes a little bit more sense. Like I ain't never thought anything about any alpaca draws, or I never knew the median household income in my area. Kevin knew all of that information from the place that he was from. And when he shared that with me, I was like, wait, I didn't, that just wasn't in my head like what could happen. That just wasn't what, most of America was doing. And so when you understand somebody's perspective a little bit more, right, then you understand a little bit more about how they move and how they behave. And for me, it helped me understand why he guarded his money as much as he did. Because like you said, he'll give, but now he gonna have 2,500 questions. Okay. Before he gives. So if if you on the receiving end, just be prepared to answer some questions. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and share a little bit about my story.
Mm,
So as you probably deducted, coming up, I didn't have a whole lot of money. Um, Things were hard because of that, and the world interacts with you differently when you don't have money. Things cost more, oddly enough, when you don't have money. Um, Things you take for granted, like being able to go to the doctor, yeah, can't do it if you don't have money, right? You can go to the emergency room, but those aren't specialized doctors, right? That doesn't always catch the problem. Um, so one thing that was very interesting for me, God put me in the right place to be around the right people to start paying attention to my money. And when I first started paying attention to my money, whew, man, I was like, okay, okay. So I gotta make almost $100,000 just before I could be considered broke.
mm,
And that was like, what is happening, right? And what I mean by that is like, you know, when you look at they call it your net worth, right? Your net worth is you take everything that you owe and everything that you have, you add them together, and what the balance that's left is your net worth. Mine was negative, right? I had, I owed much less than what I had. I mean, I owed much more than what I had, right? And it became a journey, right? My goal was to get to broke. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be to a point where I didn't owe anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even necessarily need to have anything. I just didn't want to owe. I just didn't want to be in debt,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wanted what I made, what was coming in to stay with me, right? Instead of being gone before it ever hit my hand, or
Mm-hmm.
promised away before it ever met my hand,
Yeah.
right? Um, those who have heard me speak before probably know about the alpaca jaws. I'm gonna tell you where that came from. So y'all, it's an interesting story. So growing up in Alabama, we were driving down the road one time, and I saw this thing that looked like an alien horse, and I was like, "Huh, I want to wear that." Right?
Boy, Parker.
So that happened. Flash forward, um, I see the movie American Gangster when
Mm-hmm.
Frank was talking about, "Hey, don't rub that on there. That's alpaca.
Right.
Watch
Block that.
it." Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Man, alpaca must be about something." So fast forward, y'all. I learned about hiking and camping. Woo. And so as I started to learn more about it, I realized that, there were different materials that were more supportive or better for that type of activity. Turns out alpaca is amazing for being out in nature. It's softer than cotton. It's just great. So my goal was I wanted some alpaca draws, right? And then I was like, I got a job. I'm gonna give me some alpaca draws. That's my goal. I couldn't afford the alpaca draws, y'all, but that was my goal before I started paying attention to my money and realized I wasn't even broke yet.
Mm.
So
Mm. And so y'all, that's still a goal. I think at some point down the road. But what I love about Kevin is, like he said, there's mindset and then there's circumstance. So you can be without money, you can be not where you want to be financially, but still have the mindset of someone who has a lot. And so Kevin has a real rich interest. Uh-huh. And real costly hobbies, even though he holds on to this money so tightly. And so I tell him all the time, I'm like, you can't really call me bougie. Like, you're bougie. You just won't always spend the money to be bougie.
no, 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 no. I'm not bougie. I just identify as rich. That's who the real me is. That's who I am inside.
Okay.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
walk in your truth. That's fine. Look, whatever, however you want to do it. I see Kiani has entered the building. Hey, Kiani. So y'all, we'll tell you at the end. We're gonna be on Kiani's show next Monday. Okay, next Monday evening. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so y'all, going back to what we were saying about finances and relationships, make sure, like Kevin said, that you understand, you and your significant other, spouse, mate, whatever you want to call it, understands where the other person is coming from when it
Mhm.
comes to money. And you will find that that won't just stop with money. That will kind of bleed over into all the areas, because again, the stuff that makes us behave the way that we behave with money and finances is the same stuff that make us behave the way that we behave with our emotions, or how we behave with our time, or how we behave when we're in, uncomfortable situations. All of that stuff comes from the same place. And so when you get a good understanding of who your partner is, you will understand why they do what they do, and you will understand how to respond, and also how to kind of interact with them in a better way, or a healthier way. All right. Tasha said financial conversations are hard but necessary in a marriage. Absolutely.
Very.
Absolutely. And I know there are people out there who do not merge their finances like the way that Kevin and I do. Like all our stuff is together, right? We together, okay? Till death do us part. And I'm believing that we're gonna be here when Jesus come back, and we don't even have to do that death part, okay? But we together, everything together. And I know some people don't do that, and that's all right. That's your choice. But you still gotta have conversations,
Mm-hmm.
right? If y'all together, you still got to be able to talk, even if his money is his money and your money is your money. Like, you still got to be able to have conversations about that. And one thing that I know early on, Kevin probably did not care for as much. I will use all my therapist stuff. Yeah, when I'm talking and when we having conversations, absolutely, because I have to practice what I preach. Like the stuff works, so why not use it? So yes, sometimes I will therapize Kevin. Surely will. It happens. And y'all, listen. The funny part, he didn't got so that he will use therapy stuff on me, and I'm like, which one of us the psychologist? All
I
right,
read those.
so you said what?
I said I read your books though.
He yes, he will routinely say, I read your books. So yes, I see our nephew has entered the chat. Hey Jason. He says call
Hey.
me ghetto. I cannot with you. I cannot. But yes, so y'all, I feel like one tip that I would give folks for leveling up financially in relationships, to tag on to what Kevin said about the understanding, is make sure that you are not easily offended.
Mm.
Okay. So when
Mm-hmm.
y'all have these conversations, right, like you might start over text, or part of it might be in an email, or part of it might be in passing, make sure that you're not easily offended. Because when you think about it, the other person is the other half of you, right? Like y'all supposed to merge together, right, to become one. That's what we say when we get married, right? Why would that person purposely want to, in some way, hurt you or offend you or make you upset?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't. Now, that doesn't mean that the stuff that they're doing doesn't annoy you or hurt you or make you upset, but that's not the intended goal. And so, if we keep that in mind, we can respond to people with more love and caring and care, so to speak, right? Like I'm gonna take some care with how I respond to you, versus if I think you're intentionally trying to hurt me,
Yeah.
or intentionally trying to make me upset, I'm gonna come out the bag a little different on you,
You know
right?
what? You used a example a long time ago about if someone cut you off in traffic.
That's my therapy trick, Kevin. But go ahead.
Hold on, let me see if I can get it right. It was like,
Mhm,
if somebody cuts you off in traffic and you think that they're just, being a butt and just trying to, get by you, you go perceive that one kind of way,
mhm,
right? But on the flip side, if you think that that person is maybe in crisis or trying to hurry up and get to the hospital, right? You
mhm.
go to see that same situation through softer eyes.
Yeah,
And the truth of the matter is, you never really know what the actual situation is.
yeah,
So,
yep.
yeah.
Good
See?
job. You got it right. Yeah. So y'all, what he's talking about, I use that in therapy all the time, especially with my teenagers, because a lot of them are driving, so they can understand, like they can feel it a little bit more. But when I'm talking about perspective taking in therapy, and I'm talking about what script or what story are you telling yourself? Because that's really what it is,
Mhm.
right? I'll use this analogy about people cutting you off in traffic, and I will give them a little bit of my story. I will share a little bit that Dr. CC has road rage sometimes. Okay, like it happens, and it's a couple of folks on here that can attest to that, that sometimes I get upset in when I'm in traffic. One, probably because I'm trying to get where I'm going, but two, I don't like the idea of people disregarding me. Right. And so when somebody is cutting you off, a lot of times that's the first thing we gonna think. Oh, they think where they got to go is more important than where I got to go. But
Mhm.
y'all, the way my blood pressure set up and the way my peace set up, I don't have time to be getting upset about somebody I don't know, I really don't know what the real story is, right? This is just the story that I'm coming up with. And so, like I tell my teenagers and my young adults in therapy, why not tell yourself a story that's gonna make you feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Why automatically jump to the negative, right? Oh, they trying to cut me off because they don't care about what I got going on. They just trying to go where they trying to go. Mm-mm. What if somebody in the car and they need to get to the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What if somebody's sick and they trying their best just to stay on the road and maybe they drifted into your lane because
Right.
they're sick, right? Like there are so many different situations where our hearts are soft or softened, right? So why not tell, since you're telling yourself a story anyway, why not use that story and keep your blood pressure down and, refrain from using words that maybe you don't want to use?
And see, the beauty of that is that same concept of perspective shifting is what applies to wealth, right?
Yeah.
That right there is the difference between that mindset of being poor or being broke, or
Mm-hmm.
being rich or being wealthy, right? It's a way of engaging with your own life, and telling yourself the story that's going to benefit you, that allows you to live fully where you are, as opposed to being beholden to some external tangible item that you most likely can't control, right? You can't control how much money comes to you, but what you can control is what you do with it while you have it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And how you see it and how
Mhm.
much you can enjoy life no matter how much of it you have, right?
Exactly.
And y'all, one thing that I have found, and this has been amazing, the more you focus on the task at hand, or the more you focus on your journey or your purpose that God is giving you, the more that other stuff will come, because guess what? It's just a means to an end.
Hmm.
Right? So if God told me I need you to go, and we just gonna use something out the Bible, go and feed 5,000, guess what? He gonna give me the resources to feed the 5,000. So
Hmm.
instead of me being stuck on, well, Lord, I ain't got the resources. Wait a minute, I don't, where the fish and where that little boy
Right,
with.
because ain't nobody told you you had to go to Red Lobster to feed the 5,000,
Mm-hmm. I,
right?
I might want to though, but yeah, I hear you. I
You
hear
would,
you.
you would.
You know I would, right? That's who I am as a person. Because I would want them to have what I would have wanted. So that's just me. But again, don't get stuck on what you don't have. Let's look at and let's focus on what we're supposed to be doing, and let's
Hmm.
put one foot in front of the other. And I promise you, by faith, right? God will give you all the stuff you need. And so,
Hmm.
y'all, the other part, and I see some comments in the chat I want to get to, but the other part of me leveling up this year, and a lot of people have heard this from me, I want to free fall and enjoy it. Okay. So lean into what God has for me, fall into all the opportunities that he has, take a big leap, right? Take some leaps this year. But y'all, this other part is enjoy it. What you say?
Big one.
Big one, yes. But enjoy it. Like that is the part. So I don't want to be around here fretting and worried and, well, Lord, I know you said do this, but I don't see where it's gonna come from. I don't see how I'm gonna do it. That ain't my business.
Hmm.
My grandmama used to say that all the time. But I would be complaining about the weather if it was raining or something. And she said, hey, that ain't your business. That's God business. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And it's the same. If God gives us an assignment, if he tells you to walk, start walking. I promise you, he gonna give you everything that you need, whether it's money, whether it's support, whether it's people with knowledge. And Kevin will tell you, he started talking about this a little bit. God put him around people
Hmm.
who gave him a different perspective on money and helped him see, by some by their success, but some by their failures, right?
Hmm.
Helped him see what it was that he needed to concentrate on. And it's not always concentrating on that bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, Ayana in the comments said, Kevin about to use your license, girl. Ayana, if he could, he would. Okay. He definitely be trying to use it. All right. Yeah. Hey, I see Marcella on here. Anitra on. Hey, y'all. Yeah. So Anitra says surrendering the how and the when. Yes. So
Hmm.
Dr. G, preaches that consistently. Y'all, we have to surrender some of this stuff that's really not our business. If you have an assignment, start making your way towards the assignment. I promise you, God will give you the rest. He will. Yeah. Babe, you had anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, no, you covered it.
Okay, all right. So y'all, we I can't even believe I got him to be on here for a whole hour, okay? Because y'all his attention span short too. So the fact that the fact that he been on here for an hour with us, that's a whole nother blessing. All right. Yeah. Hey Riri, good to see you. Yeah, Ayana said, I tell my kids broke people give broke advice. Yeah.
Facts. Careful. You know what? I will say that. Highlight that. Be careful
Mm,
who you listen to. Be
mm,
very careful who you listen to.
yeah.
There's all kind of advice out there, and the fact of the matter is, some of the advice ain't wrong. It's just not right for you in this
Mm.
moment, right?
Oh,
So
that's
be
a good
careful with
word.
the advice you get. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't
Mm,
understand it, back off,
mhm,
right? Get
mhm.
some more insight, get some more education, and then come back. But like, filter your sources.
Yeah, that's a good word right there. It might not be right for you right now.
Right.
And we tell our trainees often in the clinic I work in, just because you know what you think is going to be right for this patient, the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing,
Hmm.
right? If the family is not ready for the techniques that you're trying to teach them, guess what? It ain't going to work. Right. And that's the same with your finances. If somebody trying to tell you how to invest your money and they talking about stocks and bonds and you don't even know what a stock and a bond is,
Right.
that's not it, y'all. That's not it. If you know that God has you on a track to do more with your money, and somebody come up to you and start talking to you about buying rental property, and you don't even have your house yet, mm-mm. That's probably not it. So it can be, and going back, and this came full circle, right? Because you talked about this a little bit earlier. It can be the right thing, but again, it might not be for you right now.
Hmm.
Right. So y'all, that's a good word. I like that. Hey Tiffany, good to see you. Yeah, Shay said everyone doesn't have your best interest. That's true. Everybody won't have your best interest at heart. And
Hmm.
look, some people might, but they still might not be the person to tell you how to get to where you're supposed to be going.
Yep.
Right. And we have to recognize that too. There are plenty of people that love us. And they not the folks that have the training to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I find myself telling patients this all the time. Teenagers, they like, oh, Dr. CC, I stayed up all night because my friend was suicidal. I said, well, what you did? Well, I just kept them safe. You're not trained to do that. You 16, you coming to see me because you suicidal. Right? So you're not trained to do that work with them. Let's make sure that we are getting our information from the people that are in a place to help us. And
Hmm.
just because somebody care about you don't mean that they're in a place to help
Hmm.
you. Okay. Hey Shawanda, good to see you. Hey, I got folks, all my folks, Fairfield, Texas, everywhere. Y'all, thank you for being on with us. We always appreciate when people take time to stop and watch us and interact with us. I know it's some more people on that'll send me some messages later. They don't like to drop messages in the chat, but they are on and they are watching and they are supporting. And so we appreciate all of you all. Okay. So Kev, tell them where they can find you, and then I will tell them a little bit more about the other things that we are doing together over the next few days.
Okay. So the easiest way to follow me is to go to my website, www.cfpisolutions. It's right there. Wait, right there.
Uh-huh.
cfpisolutions.com. On there, I have a blog. Um, and you can also use that to find my social media links. They right there at the top. And I'm starting to post a little bit more on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So follow
Yes.
me on there.
Yeah. So y'all, I dropped www.cfpisolutions.com in the chat. It's on my heart and soul page. I will also drop it on Facebook and LinkedIn once we get off of here so everybody can find him. Kevin's blog is amazing. He does a lot of articles with tips and strategies for your financial wellness. He gives a lot of great information. So you all go on over and make sure that you check him out on his website. I see Nisi has entered the building. She said, "My Christy and Kev. Yeah, I'm going to catch the replay." Yeah, so catch the replay, Nisi. I actually gave you a shout out at the beginning. So make sure you catch it. Yeah. So you all know how you can find me. You know, www.heartinsomh.com. Is that right, babe?
Hmm.
.com. Yeah, we had .org as well, but .org will go to the .com. So
Both work. Yeah.
so they both work. So www.heart, the letter N, the word soul, the letter M, the letter H.com, and you can sign up for my VIP list to hear about all of the awesome things that are going on. I will give you all a little sneak preview. I got a women's group that's starting in March in the DMV area. So we are so excited about that, to hold a space in person for some women to come and lean into their magic and learn more about themselves and learn more about this path that God has set them on. So now you all will see the post. I'll be posting flyers soon enough. But if you want to see Kevin and I again together, I kind of threw him into the deep end and decided we were going to do this in a set of three. So tonight was our first kind of time together on Dr. CC Says, but on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll both share the flyer for that. We are on a financial wellness panel called the financial miseducation of the Negro. And so this is, of course, coming off of Carter G. Woodson's platform and his book, The Miseducation of the Negro. We are going to talk about the history of Black wealth and
Mhm.
talk about strategies to kind of help push Black wealth forward in our current day. So, y'all, there are some awesome people on this panel. We'll go for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We will be taking questions from the audience as well as giving a lot of great information. So, you all can sign up. It's free on Eventbrite. And again, that'll be this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Monday, I think she is still on here, Kiani, who is a masseuse and a nurse. She is trained as a nurse, and she is the best masseuse ever in life. She is our
Mhm.
masseuse. She is doing a series right now on the power of touch. And so we will be on her show as a couple on Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have that flyer as well. Kiana, if you have a link or if you can drop in the chat, because I see you on here, if you can drop in the chat where they can watch the live, and we will share the flyer later on, either tonight or tomorrow. So you all will have all the information you need to watch the Doctor's Walker in action. All right. Ayana says sounds spicy. Yes, touch. Yes.
I don't,
I love it.
I don't know.
Look, we'll see. Listen, Kiana wild, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on Monday. I don't know. Yeah. So Kiana said you can watch it at on Facebook Live at the Kneading Well. Yes, the Kneading Well. Awesome. And Anitra says she is registered for it. I love it. Yes. So y'all, that's all we have for you all tonight. We hope that you all have enjoyed. I have definitely enjoyed. Thank you, Bay, for
Thank
being
you.
on the show. And y'all, we will be back next week. We will be into March. And so that is Women's Month. So, you know, I'm going to have to talk about all things women's health. And I'm going to have some really awesome guests on the show to talk about. We're going to do mental health. We're going to do physical health. We're going to do relationships, all the things pertaining to women. If you all have a topic that you really want to hear about, DM me. DM me, send it to me. I love to hear from you all, and I would love to address any questions or any topics of interest that you all have. All right.
Hey, babe. Hey,
Yeah,
can I get one more thing?
sure.
All right. So, if y'all want to level up your financial life right now, any of you who haven't done it yet, take the next week or two, pay attention to where your money's going.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Write it down, understand it, name it, name every dollar. The dollars I spent today on a salad, I named them Billy as a group. I know what Billy did.
Yeah.
So n- nothing will change your financial outlook like knowing what
Mm-hmm.
your financial behaviors are.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. So with that, we are going to say good night and we're gonna go grocery shopping so that we are prepared for this Daniel fast. Okay. Y'all keep us in prayer. All right. All right. Until next time.
Holla.
Bye.